In our world, where trust, dependability, and doing what you say you're going to do matters most, some people deliver, and some people don't. On today's show, we witness the adventures of Mr. I Did My Best, Mr. I Forgot, Mr. Something Came Up, and Mr. I don't give a what I said I'm going to do, nor do I care what agreements I've signed. I'm going to do whatever it takes to get whatever I want at your expense, but I do appreciate you.
All right, Carl, it's good to see you.
You too, boss.
You can grab a seat, please.
Absolutely. This is an awesome office.
Well, as you know, we have a daily meeting where we meet and go over the things that need to be done. It's almost like a daily huddle where we make sure the team isn't drifting and that if you have any questions, they can be answered and I can answer any questions, that kind of thing, And it seems like every other meeting you miss the meeting.
What?
And in fact, I know you miss every other meeting because I'm there.
What?
And you're not there. So I just would like if you could commit to being at the meetings every day.
Yeah, absolutely.
Please.
Absolutely. I'll be at the meetings. I don't understand why you're on me about this.
You're the leader.
I don't understand. For sure, I 100% promise I'll be there every day.
Okay.
Starting tomorrow.
Okay, you promise? Great, okay. I'll see you tomorrow morning then. Guys, it's 12:14. Where's Carl?
Yes, I had made a phone call to him, but I have not heard back at this point. Go with the
Burns, you have something to say back there?
Sir, with all due respect,
Speak up back there.
we have no respect for Carl, sir. He's probably at a bar somewhere.
Are you kidding me?
He shows up to this meeting once every 3 weeks. True. That's what happens.
Well,
That's what
true.
he feels about the group. He gives us all a middle finger every time he comes in late. He reschedules every meeting. Sir, he can't hide behind the title. He sucks.
2 men, 13 multi-million-dollar businesses, 8 kids, 1 business coach radio show. Get ready to enter the Thrive Time Show.
That's it. Bombs away.
Yes, and yes. It is ecstasy when Z is next to me. Sir, you're back.
Woo! Oh, it feels so good.
Can you talk about...
I missed you guys so much. I just want to sidebar.
Are we... This particular show is not going to come out the day that we recorded the show. Are we allowed to talk about the thing, or we still can't talk about the thing?
Oh, no, we can talk about the thing. I moved into my new home, my dream home, and I'm just so excited. So still have a few more boxes to unpack, but it's fun. It's not as big as Paul Hood's, but it's
We're
going
gonna
to
play a game.
But nobody's home is as big as Paul Hood's.
It's not about the size, Z. You know it's not about the
doesn't matter.
size. Size doesn't matter.
On today's show, what we're going to do, we're going to be talking about a miracle that occurred for a member of the Thrive Nation.
Miracle.
Boom.
A guy who was once always not on time is now always on time.
Wow.
And it's changing his game. But before we get into that testimonial, we're going to play the great game of one-upsmanship.
Ooh,
so what we're going to do is I'm going to tell the listeners out there a fact.
Okay.
And then we'll go back and forth and one-up each other because this is the kind of conversation you shouldn't have. Okay, so here we go.
Oh, perfect.
All right, so Paul, you have a house.
I have a house.
Z, you have a house.
Yes, I do.
So we'll go with Z first.
All right.
What is one thing, Z, that is in your house that is not in Paul's house, that is more impressive than anything you could possibly find in his house? Because Paul has a 25,000 square foot house. It's a big house.
Yes, it is.
But I think, and again, we'll go on the record, I don't know that Paul Hood has a room in the house with alligator skin wallpaper.
I don't think he does.
Do you have alligator skin wallpaper?
Yes.
So that is a mega point for Dr. Z.
Oh.
In Paul's
Give me a
face.
week. Give me a week. I got that wallpaper coming.
Now, Paul, what is
Yes.
something that you are confident that you have in your house that Z does not have
he
in
has
his
several
house?
things.
Because, and by the way, don't mention that whole bidet thing. I thought it was a drinking fountain. Back to you, Paul.
Yeah, Clay, keep your mouth away from that. Now, I have a 2,000 square foot gym in my house with a purple wall that I am contemplating having a full body picture of Z painted right there for motivation.
Oh, wow.
Most
that would
people
be
have
appropriate.
mirrors.
That would be appropriate because purple's, a very kingly color. I'm surprised you didn't paint that bright orange because you are such the diehard OSU Cowboy fan.
Well, because you're not.
Oh, thank
and
you.
am I going to put your picture on it? I can't
Purple's
have
a nice,
it orange.
instead of the red for the Sooners or the orange for the, you did kind of a compromise purple. I appreciate that.
Gentlemen.
You're right. I do not have a 2,000 square foot exercise gym. It's really a gym in my. Yours is impressive, by the way.
Listen, right now, gentlemen, we have to stay. This is a very tightly controlled, very regulated game of
We got off
one-upsmanship.
track.
Oh, sorry.
So let's continue.
Sorry.
So you have a 2,000 square foot gym in your house.
Correct.
That's a point for you. And Z does not have one in his life, which is why right now, if all the listeners will go to, if you'll email me right now, info@thrivetimeshow.com, we have created a GoFundMe for Dr. Z. And we're saying for as little as, I think it's like $17,000 a month, you too could fund Dr. Zellner. And so we started GoFundMe, and it's
like
right
that.
now.
I
We're right
like
now,
that. Yeah.
We're trying to get a 2,000 square
Hey,
foot.
instead of
gym.
GoFundMe, can we call it GoFundZ?
There it is.
I like that.
Go
You
fund
gotta-
Z.
You got to always enhance it.
Okay, so right now, so
Does that
you,
give me back a mega point?
you have a mega point so far if we're
Ah,
tracking.
there we
bonus
go.
point.
There we
Because
go.
it is your show, Z. You have 2 points and Paul has 1 point.
Oh, that's
so
a
far.
shame, Paul.
So Z, what is something else you have in your house? A beautiful new feature in the new house that you would say in your face, Paul, you don't have that.
I think I forget what the exact term is, but it's the main staircase when you come in the door is a spiral, a floating staircase.
Oh. Is
It
that
swings?
possible?
You can move?
No, it doesn't float, but it looks like it floats. It's just a spiraling staircase.
that's
They call it a
cool.
floating staircase because there's no, it just looks like it's
Paul,
just.
do you have a floating spiral staircase?
I do not have
Paul-
a floating
Paul lost a
spiral.
point.
Oh,
And Z-
now I'm 0.
And Z, now you gained a point. So now it's like 4-0.
Snap. Snap.
Now,
a medic is
I
good
think
to
this
me.
game is rigged.
Now we're gonna go
Possibly.
into a new category, and the category is elevators for 5,000 megapoints.
Okay.
I got this.
Paul, talk about elevators. Do you have elevators? What do you know about elevators?
Yeah, so I have an elevator Z that goes up 6 stories. So that means I have a 6-story home. my
Yes.
friend.
Well, that's impressive. My elevator only goes up the 2 stories that my house is. So
Do you have an elevator in your house?
yeah.
No, you don't. This right here.
Not
this is
6
why,
to nothing.
This
Come
is
on.
why you.
No, you got a point too.
Okay.
But his
This is why
his
you have
much
to
bigger.
go to GoFundZ. This is a thing, Devin. See if we can buy that domain real quick. GoFundZ. And we'll get. I'm not
GoFundZ.
kidding. Let's get a little website going here. GoFundZ and
And I
Z-
get my elevator to go higher.
And I have a few needs, Devin. If you can put on the show notes that I know we need to get Dr. Zellner. One, you love Lagavulin. What is Lagavulin? How much does Lagavulin cost?
Lagavulin is a single malt Scotch whiskey.
Yep.
And it hails from the region of Islay, Scotland, little island on the west side of Scotland.
Yep.
And it is it comes in either a 12 or 16 years. They have some other kind of specialty ones, but those are the main 2. And the 16 is my favorite. It's actually less expensive than the 12, which doesn't make sense.
How much does it cost?
If you think about it, usually in the $70 to $80 range.
So
I've
for as
seen
little
it-
as $80, somebody could fund you. And how long will that last you? I mean, is that like
sometimes it'll last a long
month?
time. Sometimes it depends. If I have some buddies over, we can knock one of those out in one night if I got enough friends over.
okay?
Wait, I've got experience here.
Yes.
So I had a very fun and large Christmas party at my house.
Yes.
And I intentionally bought a bottle of this particular liquor.
Lagavulin.
Lagavulin.
Yeah.
Thinking I would get a taste. Mr. Zellner showed up at my house. I didn't get even a taste of this alcohol.
Well, once they
I don't know
brought
what happened.
Well, once they brought it out and started pouring mine, I mean, everybody else in line was like, "What's that? What's that?" And I was like, "That's my favorite Scotch." And so,
Okay.
I mean, I think the next 6 dudes hammered on that too.
So I just want to make
I
sure
only
we're
had
getting
really
this.
a little bit at your house.
I need to get another one because I want to
We
try it.
have 2 men here on the show who are struggling financially. And if you want to fund Z, you just go to GoFundZ.com. Let's register that domain. Is it available, Devin?
It is not available.
No way.
Somebody's trying to
Spell it out. Say like ZEE.
That one is available.
Well,
We
let's
can
do
grab
that.
one.
GoFundZee.com. And let's put that on the show
Or you
notes.
just see if the one E's available, and that way it's kind of like me, but it's Z.
Oh, GoFundZ, but like me, that's
Ooh,
hot.
we got it.
Yeah.
We
You got it?
We can get it.
Okay,
It's
so let's
on
put that
sale,
on the
too.
show notes, and let's get that domain, and then we'll make that way people can go up there and buy you bottles of Lagavulin as a way to say thank you.
That
That's a
would be
gift.
really helpful for me.
Now, the reason why you guys have had success, in all sincerity, is that you both started with nothing, but decided to take the tools that you had, which was your work ethic, and to build something. You started off washing dishes at Chiquita O'Brien's.
Yes, when I was 13 years old, daytime dishwasher.
And Paul, what was your first job?
I was a dishwasher at
Oh.
Egbert's.
Egbert's.
Yes.
Really? I didn't know
Yes.
that. How old were you?
I was 13, 14.
Wow.
Yeah.
So you
Wow,
both
there we go.
started, though, with nothing and have built something. And I think the American narrative of rich people somehow scheming their way into success, it needs to be changed. And so we try to have guys like you guys on the show who started with nothing, who built something. You started from the bottom, you grew to the top, and on your way to the top, you had to learn some certain basic principles. And one principle that you had to learn was that a man has no right to occupy another man's time unnecessarily. John D. Rockefeller.
Right. This is correct.
A man has no right to occupy another man's time unnecessarily. William Shakespeare wrote, better 3 hours too soon than a minute too late. You had to learn these things. So I want to talk about your unique relationship that you have with time, Dr. Z, your time, because you are a guy who does not suffer fools, and you will not allow your time to be wasted, and you also won't allow other people's time to be wasted if possible. You hate mindless, pointless meetings. You hate
that's the worst, yes.
Driving to things you don't need to go to. Talk to me about the things that you avoid to optimize your time. What are the things that you just categorically avoid, and why do you have to be a punctual person to get to the top?
Well, that's a real meaty question. We'll start with why you need to be on time, and then what do you do to create? Because one of the things that I hear the most from young entrepreneurs or people that want to start a business, Forbes, which is our business Bible, tells us that in their survey, 67% of the people out there listening right now want to work for themselves, want to start their own business. And then when you ask them about it, and they say, yes, that's me, and you say, well, why aren't you doing it? And half the time their answer is, I just can't find the time. I just can't find the time.
I want to.
And so to break down your question, Clay, there's several parts of it. One is I just almost religiously, when someone asks me for some of my time, it's almost an automatic no. Unless it's just absolutely necessary, then I'll change it to a maybe, and then I'll go to yes. So I think a lot of people think that in order to be polite, if someone says, hey, can you do lunch this week? You're like, yeah, I guess so. Yeah, sure. Okay, well, what day's good for you? Wednesday. All right, let's do Wednesday. And then next thing you know, you're letting other people fill up your schedule because you have the inability to say no. It's not rude to say no. You should be in control of your time, okay? Now then, being on time, there's nothing worse than setting a meeting with someone. And here's what I do is I say, if someone asks me for my time, I'll say, how long do you need?
There you go.
And they'll say 15 minutes or 30 minutes. And I'll say, okay, well, then I have you from 1 to 1:30.
Yep.
And you're booked.
I've watched you do it.
If they show up at 1:10 or 1:15, guess what? Now they have 15 minutes. And I'll tell them that when they show up. I'm going to say, I had you booked till 1:30. So you have my undivided attention. Get after it. And they give their spiel. Whatever they're there to sell me or try to, if you think that I'm going to be on their team about or talk to me about, then that's the time that they have, okay? So that it's kind of a little schooling on them, but it's fair. You told them you gave them the time. If they want to take part of that time and drive around town or stop and get gas or wash their car or whatever they did, that's on them. And then I try to do the same thing when I want somebody's time or I set up a meeting with somebody or I need to be somewhere at a certain amount of time. You have to really be cognizant of it, and you want to get there early because there's always going to be a traffic accident. There's always going to be a police officer pulling someone over in front of you. There's going to be road construction along the way that you didn't know about or forgot about. These things are just happening. So to say, well, I'm late because just means that you didn't factor in that extra little bit of time you needed to get there because there's always something going on. If you live in a big city, I lived in Dallas one time for a year, and I mean, it could be a 10-minute ride or it could be an hour-and-a-half ride. Depends on when you go and the traffic. I mean, crazy. Some of those big cities are like that. So you need to give yourself plenty of time and adjust for it. And if you need to, I tell some guys that I know that are always late, set your clocks up. Just take your clock and set it 15, 30 minutes up. It'll be 1:30 and you'll think it's 1. And guess what? You'll start getting there on time. In fact, I have a brother of mine. I won't mention his name, Chuck.
Oh, wow.
But I didn't mention his name.
No.
It was a cough.
You were chuckling.
You were chuckling. It was coffee.
Get that man a cough drop.
And so what I do is I say we're on that time. And what I'll do is I'll tell everybody else, I'll say, what time is dinner? I'll say 6. And I'll tell him it's 5:30. Because I know.
You just know how it's going to go.
I know how it's going to go. And he's going to show up about 5:50, right? Maybe even 6, maybe 6:15. and it'll be like, I'd be like, hey, and everybody else will be there, and I'll be like, don't even say anything about it. Just roll on with it.
We have a listener out there. I want to tell this. This is a great story here. In just a moment, we're going to interview the senior editor for Forbes, Zach O'Malley Greenberg. So, but I just want to make sure we get this in. This particular guy, Paul, he said he has always been late forever, and he's built a very successful company, and it's kind of stuck because if you're the owner and you're always not there on time, he's made a change. And Paul, you've made changes with fitness. I mean, you've made. Sure. I mean, how much weight did you lose when you first got serious about fitness? I mean, because you had made a dramatic body transformation, I believe, right?
Yeah. Well, I've always been in fairly good shape, but I did that bodybuilding show about a year and a half ago, and I dropped 29 pounds in 16 weeks and got to 2% body fat.
So you
but
can
it's the
change.
Same thing. It's the same thing what Z was saying about time. What broke people, I'm sorry, or people that aren't as successful don't understand is the most valuable asset you have is time. And there are so many things, Z, like as you get going and you're a little more successful in life, so many things that you can fill every minute of every day with. And so you have to be very controlling because every minute could be, $10,000, $5,000 that you're making. And so it's very disrespectful to be late or to whether you're the one being late or somebody else is being late. So the same thing with the bodybuilding and the transformation is I had to be very intentional, very specific with what went in my body and what movements I made.
So the specific moves for you, if you're out there today and you're struggling being late all the time, do what Dr. Z said. Set your alarm ahead if you need to. I know it seems stupid. I know you're an adult. I know it seems obvious, but I'm telling you, I know 40-year-old men that are totally not respected because they're labeled as that guy who's always late. So I would encourage you to block out time. Like even to record this show, I know it takes me 15 minutes to get to the show from the office, to get here to the man cave from the office. So I always will block out 30 minutes. Why? Because there's always something that comes up. And Z, this is a great tip for your staff, and we'll kind of end it here. Ben Horowitz started a company called Opsware, which he sold for $1.6 billion.
God bless him.
And to Hewlett-Packard. And he then started it's Andreessen Horowitz. It's the #1 venture capital fund in the world, Andreessen Horowitz. And he has a rule that for every minute you're late, you pay a $10 per minute fine if you're an employee of his.
Wow, okay.
So if you're late, it's $10 per minute. This is the biggest venture capital fund. And what happens is you pay it to the person that you made wait, or you pay it to the... So if you're late 60 minutes on a project, that's going to be a massive fine.
Right.
$600.
Right.
If you're late 10 minutes, it's $100. It's a lot. So again, if you're out there today and being late is a problem for you or your company, come up with a system. You've got to quit telling your customers that you don't care. Quit being the person who's chronically late. We're all late occasionally. We all make mistakes. I get it. But I just wanted to celebrate this particular thriver. I won't mention his name, but this is a guy in his 40s who's been late all the time. He's always been labeled as that guy.
That guy.
But now he's on time all the time.
What was his move? What did he do?
He just said he got tired of us talking about him on the show.
We shaved him into it.
I never mentioned him on the show, but he's like, I got tired of. I think that's what Jason said. He got tired of it.
Yeah.
He told Jason the story, so I believe that was the story. Was he got tired of us banging on him on the show here for being late all the time? But I didn't mention him at all. Nor did I know he struggled with being late. But congratulations, welcome to the On Time team. And now, without any further ado, we're going to call Zach O'Malley Greenberg, the senior editor over there at Forbes.
Zach Attack. Let's do it.
See, let's end the show with a boom.
Why not?
Here we go. 3, 2, 1, boom.